Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Akil. Here are the headlines. The tepid start to trade with this Tuesday as Indian markets hunt for direction, volatility remains little changed. And open interest surges in India cements as traders take short positions in stock futures. Bandhan Bank and Group Finance are down in trade today after two lenders announced their merger. And the government extends the winter session of Parliament by a day as it tries to push through key bills in the Rajya Sabha, including triple talaq and reservation for economically weaker sections among general category.
Okay, let's see what the markets are doing at this point of time. If you're looking at the markets, rather muted at this point of time. We are up almost 11 points on the Nifty, but nevertheless, open interest build-up seems to be on the negative side. So there is a little bit of short covering that's seen on the Nifty. As far as the open interest build-up on the Nifty Bank is concerned, the Nifty Bank is seeing open interest build-up of 3%, but the Nifty Bank is down in the negative. Where are futures and option positions being taken? As far as today's trade is concerned, call writers are active from levels of 10,900 right up to levels of 11,000. That is where traction is happening. And put writers are taking a little bit of positions on 10,800 and 10,900. But total open interest, 11,000 seems to be the big resistance that the market is facing. And on the lower end, it's 10,500. So that's the broad range that the market is looking at. The narrow range is 10,700 to almost 10,900. That's the narrow range that the market is looking at. But stock specific wise, Agam, what are you spotting?
Right. So, Darshan, as we mentioned earlier, there are cement stocks which are actually seeing a lot of traction in today's day of trade. And perhaps largely on account of the CLSA note, which has actually downgraded a couple of stocks and also reduced the price targets. But we have Muthoot Finance, which is right at the top, and we're going to address this as well in a little more detail. BEML continues to rise, then continues to see more longs into its futures as well. India Cement and Ramco Cement, of course, are losing out. We're going to talk about that also in just a bit. And SRF is, while it's advancing by less than 1%, but there is about a 10.5% increase in OI. Let's talk about the losers then and take a look at something like an Apollo Hospitals or ICICI Bank, ICICI Prudential, where you have seen considerable unwinding. ICICI Prudential, curiously, while it did say that it has registered a decline of over 4% in its premiums, it's still advancing by as much as 1%. Marico ONGC and Tata Elxsi also in focus. Keep an eye on Tata Elxsi since we're expecting its earnings coming through today. But on the whole, cement for stocks will be in focus today based on the kind of traction that we're seeing today.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll talk about the cement stocks, and the reason that some of them are down in trade was because of the CLSA note that came out, the multiple downgrades and target cuts that are there. So we'll talk about that in detail. We also talk about Sun Pharma today. Kotak upgraded the stock. Muthoot Finance is trading at a fresh 52-week high. We'll talk about that. CLSA has upgraded Aurobindo Pharma. So Pharma, a lot of positive news coming in. So we'll talk about that. Page Industries is down almost 35% from the recent highs. What can be done there? Tata Elxsi will come out with numbers today. So which way is the position looking like? Because over the past few quarters, we've seen that Tata Elxsi reacts very sharply to the numbers. It will come out during market hours today. BPCL, the fear and greed indicator flags a sell call on the counter. And Eicher Motors, the RSI indicates that it's in oversold zone. What should one do now? So these are the stocks that we will discuss, and if you have any queries regarding any of these stocks, you can call us on 022454044141 or write to us on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube also now with the Ask BQ hashtag, and even if you have queries on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty. Let's welcome our F&O experts for the day. Brijesh Singh of StockAxis and Nirav Chheda of Nirmal Securities join us on the show. Good morning to both of my guests. Nirav, I'll start with you. Good morning. What's the view on the Nifty? What are you What are you telling your clients to do at this point of time?
Yeah. Good morning, Darshan. On the Nifty front, from the last week, there is not much change. As you rightly said, Nifty is trading in a range of about 10,000 on the downside and about 10,900 on the upside. Looking at the options data, also there's not really high change in options data. The 10,500 put continues to hold the highest open interest amongst puts, while you can see some built up at 10,700 200 put strike. So that does tell us that base is likely to shift upwards, probably in this week or probably the next one. Having said that, looking at the chart, I do feel, this range will continue for a while, with the month end being the budget. Probably, this consolidation will go on till the January end, and you can probably see, a very timid series for January. So Nifty can, trade in the range of about 10,700 and about 11,000 on the upside for this series. Unless there is a breakout or a breakdown, I do not see, much trading opportunities here. Yes, whenever Nifty does come down towards the 10,700 odd levels, one can go on for a buy. Looking at the other stocks, there's some good buying going on into large cap stocks and F&O stocks. So you can look for stock specific buying also, but on the index front there's not much.
Okay, well, Brijesh, good morning to you as well. How are you seeing trade on the Nifty develop?
Good morning. See, no doubt, if we talk about Nifty, the Nifty has been trading in the range of, say, the broader picture range is 10,550 or say 10,600 on downside, followed by 10,950 or say 10,985 on the higher side. If we narrow down that range, so somewhere around 10,700 to 10,850 or say 880, the range lies. But the overall sentiment which I am in looking is that Nifty on a shorter term time frame is been making a lower high, so it is something like flat to bearish zone. If we trade near the resistance, one can take a sell call definitely with the strict stop loss and look out for the support zone which I have been mentioned. So if someone has a view of going short on Nifty, I was been looking when I posted that thing, 10,800 now. I think if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around 10,830 Nifty has been quoting in the future with a strict stop loss of 20 points at 10,850 or say 850 or say 860. One can look out to sell Nifty for the target of 10,700 or say 10,720 zone.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the indices. Let's talk stock specific. Brijesh, I'll start with you only. Which are the stocks that you have for our viewers today?
See, Darshan, I have two stocks, one on the buy side and one on the sell side. We'll start with the sell side first. SDFC on a shorter term time frame on the chart, it has formed the lower highs, which is giving a negative view. Even the if we draw a trend line from taking the previous swing lows, it has broken that trend line and it's been trading below that with the increase in volume, which is giving a sell signal or a bearish signal. So somewhere around 1970 to 1980, one can go for a sell side with the strict stop loss of 1970 to 1980. One can go on a sell side with a strict stop loss of 1995 and look for the target of 1925 to 1930 zone. Another counter is Aurobindo Pharma, which is looking bullish on a shorter term time frame, making the higher lows with the trend line breakout, which indicates the bullish view. No doubt, a little bit gap up opening has been there, but one can use the gap up opening or for a buying purpose. So somewhere around 740, 742, one can look out to buy this counter with a strict stop loss of 728 and play for the target of 755. Even the target can be extended to 765 zone.
Okay, and Nirav, what about you? What stocks are you betting on today?
Yeah, see, two stocks. The first one is Tata Motors. Both are buy calls. I've been sticking out my head for Tata Motors from the last few weeks. I believe Tata Motors has bottomed out. I do believe it can now move up towards the 200 to 20 odd zones. Tremendous amount of volumes have gone into this counter in the zone of 160 on the downside and about 175, 180 on the upside. It has broken out now above the 175 levels. Looks very positive. Some good volumes happened even yesterday. Open interest also, there's been good rollovers which have happened in the last month. I believe this stock can actually move up towards the 190 odd levels. One can buy with a stop loss of about 173. The second one is a buy call on ICICI Bank. Whatever Nifty does seems to be, ICICI is very immune to it. It continues to, trade positive, make a higher top, higher bottom formation. very strong pattern for ICICI Bank, and you are seeing some incremental open interest being built in into this counter. So I believe one can buy this stock. Looks like it will go up towards the 390, 400 odd zones. So one can buy with a stop loss of about 360.
Okay, that's the view. Those are the stocks. Let's discuss all the stocks that we had spoken about, and we'll start with Aurobindo Pharma, since Brijesh has already given a long strategy for it. We also have a viewer query asking what he wants to do for Aurobindo Pharma. So that's something that Brijesh has already answered. But I'll ask Nirav. Aurobindo Pharma is doing well today. Pharma as a pack is doing well. Plus comes the CLSA upgrade that's coming. What is your chart indication of Aurobindo Pharma? And on the F&O side, what kind of trends are you spotting?
Yeah. See, looking at Auro Pharma, it is in a consolidation zone with a very good support around the 710 levels. From 790, 800 odd levels, it has fallen, and every time it comes to 710, it witnesses some good amount of demand and then moves up. So it is very near to its support zone. It has touched the support zone and has come up. I believe it can come up towards the 780, 790 zones. Open interest wise, there's not much change month on month, but from the last few days perspective, yes, some longs have been built in, but I still believe, looking at the pattern, 800 is very likely to come, so one can buy at current levels with a stop loss of 710.
Okay, so that's your view coming in on Aurobindo Pharma. I want to address Eicher Motors, and if we can pull up the relative strength index for Eicher Motors. As we all know that it's been extremely weak over the previous few days. In fact, ever since we've seen its auto sales come in, it's been sold into, which is why it had gone into the oversold territory. But what Eicher Motors is currently looking to do is move out of the oversold zone. As you can see, its RSI currently stands, its 14-day RSI that you can see on your screen here, stands at around 28.29. That is what's going on with Eicher Motors, and of course we're looking at a little bit of recovery today after a lot of selling pressure coming through. The question we're really asking is this just a short covering bounce that we are seeing, or can we expect a little bit of recovery after the significant weakness that we've seen? We did see Eicher Motors move below the mark of 20,000 yesterday. In fact, even on opening today, it opened below 20,000, but has recovered. So Brijesh, I take this question to you. How are you seeing trade on Eicher Motors now, keeping all the technical indicators and the cues that you're getting from derivatives?
See, no doubt, Agam, what you have said is absolutely right. Even the price pattern with the indicator or oscillator, if anyone has been following, like RSI or say MACD, they have been supporting the price chart. But 20,650 to 20,700 would be the resistance zone. That resistance has to be crossed for the momentum to continue on a buy side or on a bull side. Whereas on the downside is been concerned, 18,500 to 18,800 is a strong band of support, which I'm looking that should not be get broken. So playing with the present scenario of 20,200, someone has a view of going long, keep a strict stop loss of recent swing low, that is 19,800 around, and look for the target of 20,600 to 20,800 zone. But purely for an investment point of view in a cash segment, definitely this level or anything below 20,000 one can use for a long purpose with a stop loss of 18,500 and look for the target of 22,000 or even 22,700 or 800 zone.
Okay, I'm going to modify this question for Nirav. Nirav, firstly, your view on Eicher Motors, and say if someone is looking to employ options, first of all, are these options liquid enough to be delved into, or would you just use futures? And based on that, what would you do? What levels would you watch out for?
Yeah. See, I'll answer the second question first. The options are not really liquid in this, so there's not much option hedging wise. Secondly, I agree with your view, Agam. I feel, short covering is likely. I'll tell you why. Because if you see the 1 year open interest for Eicher Motors, it is at the highest level at this moment. That means it is at high of 1 year. Whenever such phenomena happens, you see, a tremendous amount of covering which can come in into a particular stock. in about 6 months time, you can see Eicher Motors come to about 22,500, 23,000 levels as well. Last time this happened with Nifty, I had said, around 11,400, the highest open interest was there, and we did see a big fall for Nifty from 11,500 to about 10,000 odd levels. So I am expecting a reverse for Eicher Motors here. Add to that the volumes that has happened in the last week. There has been just tremendous amount of volumes which have come in Eicher Motors. So I believe all indicators are there that the reversal is in place. Very likely Eicher Motors can reverse from current levels. It might just consolidate for a few weeks, but bottom wise, Eicher Motors is very near to bottom. 19,600 is a very important support for this stock. I believe if that is not broken, we are near bottom. One can buy with that stop loss, and you can buy for a medium term perspective with a target of 23,000 to 25,000.
Okay, fair enough. So I think we have comprehensive views from both our experts on Eicher Motors and how to go about it. The other stock that we wanted to address was Tata Elxsi. Now, we do know, and we have addressed the range-bound movements of Tata Elxsi over the past couple of days, where it's largely moved within a range of around 970 on the lower end and perhaps 1,030 on the higher end over the last couple of months. But we are going to see its earnings today in Tata Elxsi, and as Darshan has suggested earlier, once the earnings are out, we tend to see a little more volatility come through on Tata Elxsi based on the kind of earnings that we're seeing. Of course, it is a mid-cap IT company. We're seeing unwinding in open interest ahead of the results, so that gets me curious as to what's going on in this one. So I'm going to take this one up as well with our experts. Okay, Brijesh, I'll take this one up with you. How would you address this? What would you do with Tata Elxsi, especially given its earnings are just around the corner?
See, Agam, from 925 low, the stock went all the way to 1,080 or 1,085, and after that the stock has been consolidating. What you have been have said, 1,030 or say 1,035 on the higher side, followed by 940 on the downside. So the best part is what right now the stock has not broken 940 zone. No doubt today as a result would be there, so there might be a volatility. If anyhow 925 holds on, the previous swing low if holds on, definitely one can look out, a small bounce back. So I'm looking at least stock going all the way back to the level of 1,030, 1,035, where the resistance, previous swing highs have been there, where the resistance lies. So at the present rate or any dip, if it goes somewhere on 940, definitely with a strict stop loss of 925, one can look out to buy this counter for the target of 1,030, 1,035. If anyhow, if that thing has been crossed, then the stock has been heading for 1,110 to 1,115 zone.
Nirav, what's your strategy to play Tata Elxsi?
Yeah, I will not be trading on either direction in Tata Elxsi at this moment. It's in consolidation zone. As Brijesh said, 930 on the downside is a good support area. Every time it comes there is a little bit of bounce up till 1,000, 1,030 odd levels. So again from there, there is selling pressure which comes in. So again, very difficult to say now with the earnings coming in. There can be a breakout or a breakdown very possible here. Just in case 930 is broken, I will be a seller. It can come down towards the 850, 800 odd mark. While if 1030 is broken on the upside, one should be a buyer at those levels. It can come up towards 1200 odd levels. Looking at the whole IT pack, mid-cap IT pack as a whole, KPIT, NIIT Tech, all are in a consolidation zone. But before that consolidation, everyone had witnessed a lot of shorting, short creation. So that shorts continue to be in the system. They are not really out of the system, but incremental shorts are not coming in. Yes, you are seeing shorts probably in one day, but those are again covered in that particular month. So there are not much incremental shorts which are coming in. Until that happens, you'll not see big amount of selling which will come in into these counters. But they are all ready for the next round of shorting. So one should watch out for these stocks. If in case the breakdowns come, these three short stocks are ready to be shorted.
Okay, the next sector actually we want to discuss is the cement sector. CLSA downgraded the sector and has cut the target price on in fact all the counters, and they say that a price hike is much necessary for any kind of re-rating in all these stocks. So Nirav, I'll come to you. What is your top short and what is your top long in the cement space?
See, at this moment, until 2 days back, Ramco Cement looked good, but with today's fall, seems like it is also fallen below its breakout levels. There is no long at this moment in the cement sector. Everyone is almost consolidating in a very small range. In terms of shorting, India Cement just looks like it is a bit much weaker than the other stocks comparatively. So India Cement is one stock one can short at current levels, which is around the 90 levels. You can keep a stop loss of about 97 and expect anywhere in between 80 and 75 levels, which are support areas for this stock. The others, open interest wise also there's not much movement in the other stocks, so there's not much view into the cement space. We need some aggressive buying or selling. Neither of it is coming, so it is a dull sector, one can say. So one should not be trading in such sectors at this moment.
Okay, Brijesh, I'm going to take up another stock from the cement space, and it's India Cement, because again there is a lot of selling pressure here. How are you seeing this one, and what would you do with it?
See, Agam, no doubt cement sector right now has been little bit on the pressure side. If we talk about India Cement, 98 and 101 are the upside resistance zone, followed by support at somewhere around 89 and 87 zone. So if someone has a die added to play with the cement sector, I have a contra view with the Indian Cement. Below 91 can take a buy call with a strict stop loss of say 87.5 or say 88 and play for the target of 95 to 96 zone. Even the Grasim on the chart is looking a little bit better for a long side. If someone has a view of going long, right now the stock has been quoting at 820. Anything somewhere around 810 zone if it's straight, one can take a buy call in it with a strict stop loss of 795 and play for the target of 840 to 845 zone.
Okay, the next stock we want to talk about is Sun Pharma. It's doing well for itself. Today the pharma sector is doing well. The news coming in is that Kotak has upgraded the stock. One of the more reputed brokerages as far as pharma coverage is concerned. So definitely an impact was expected, and that's come in. Open interest build-up is low. But Brijesh, would you buy Sun Pharma at 439? It's currently. Would you buy at this level?
Agam, Darshan, I would be avoiding right now because the chart right now has not been supporting. There's still no doubt the brokerage reports are saying, but purely from a chart point of view, at present rate, I would be avoiding. But if it trades somewhere around 410 and 415 zone, then the risk reward ratio would be in a favor of a long side with a stop loss of say 398 and play for the target of 445 to 450 zone. But at present rate, I would be avoiding.
Okay, with that, we move on to another very strong mover today, and that's Muthoot Finance. We've already spoken about the way that it's made a 52-week high today, and it continues to move from strength to strength. The curious aspect, of course, is the continued increase in open interest, which builds up at around 23% today as well. Yes, it's at around 520. And a lot of these technical indicators, I'm sure, are also indicating more strength to come through. Nirav, what's your reading on Muthoot Finance now? Would you initiate fresh longs at these levels as well?
Yeah, definitely I'll be going long in this. You look at the volumes, you just need one look at the pattern and you'll understand this. See, the pattern is very, very strong on a longer term chart. It has broken out above 500 on a weekly basis, which is a very good sign for this stock. The volumes have been above average, good buying around the 400 levels, and that's not just one week buying. Those are staggered buying in about 5 to 6 weeks, twice over. So again, I believe it can come up towards the 570, 580 levels very soon, probably at the end of this month. One can buy at current levels with a stop loss of about 500. One can even buy on dips if it comes down towards the 500 odd levels. There's good support around the 500 levels, a rounding kind of a formation which has taken shape. So whenever such patterns take shape, we can expect a bigger breakout, at least a 25%, 30% rise from the breakout breakout level. So I am expecting about 580, 600 to come.
Okay, it's been a while since we are speaking, and the market has managed to move to the highest point of the day, at least as of now. Brijesh, anything apart from the stocks that you recommended that you are spotting that looks interesting and can be tradable?
Darshan, Godrej Phillips looks good on the chart. Right now, the stock has been quoting somewhere around 905 or 906 zone on the future. Present rate can be used for an accumulation purpose with the stop loss of 892 or say 890 and play for the target of 935, 940. Time frame to hold this counter would be somewhere around 2 days to 3 days session.
All right. And Nirav, what about you? Anything interesting that you're spotting today? Right now?
Most of the interesting counters I think you've already talked about. I was going to speak about Muthoot, but you've already done that. One stock, in fact, two stocks. One is Kajaria Ceramics. It is trading above its breakout of 480, sustaining above the same. Looks like the breakout is in place. Very likely it is going to go out up towards the 600 odd levels soon. For trading perspective, also 550 is the target, so one can keep a stop loss of 505 and go long. The second one is Yes Bank. If you see Yes Bank, it is also trading at all-time high open interest. So again, there has been a lot of shorts which are in the system. So looks like the covering will come. It is just given a breakout above the 50-day moving average. Hopefully, it closes above the 190 levels today, and you can see some aggressive buying coming into this counter as well. It can go up towards the 220 odd level. So one can buy with that outlook with a stop loss of about 175.
Okay, well, with that, I'm going to thank both our experts, Nirav as well as Brijesh, for joining us and taking us through their views and, of course, solving perhaps some of our viewer queries. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But up next, we get your conversation with CLSA's Mahesh Nandurkar on his outlook for 2019 on our special series, Navigating Through Uncertainty. So stay tuned in. We'll be back in a bit.